What is up, guys? Archon time here, bringing you guys another YouTube video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the 18.0 patch notes that just came out today. In case you haven't done it yet, you can get your Scholomance cards now, but you can't open them until August 6th. I don't typically talk about the card game, but I figured I'd let you know. As for Battlegrounds, which is what I'm here for, the new hero, Mr. Bigglesworth, has been added to the hero pool. His passive is Kel'Thuzad's Kitty. When a player dies, discover a minion from their warband. It keeps any enchantments. So that means, obviously, if somebody dies late game, you get to pick one minion out of their warboard, and it gets to keep everything that it had on it. So if it was a Divine Shield Murloc with Poisonous, you get a Divine Shield Murloc with Poisonous. So it sounds nice, right? On paper, you're like, oh man, I could get like a 142 gold grubber, but unfortunately, the game moves, I think, too fast for Kel'Thuzad's Kitty here to actually do anything with his hero power, if that makes any sense. Because you have to think about it. Most games end at around 10 to 12 turns nowadays, or at least somebody's dying at turn 10. Some people are dying before they even hit 10 gold. And you're really not going to get anything out of those players that die before 10 gold. And usually Discover is 1 out of 3 minions, and there's 7 minions potentially on the board, so even then it's a crapshoot whether or not you get an actual minion that functions, or you just get a buff card. And I know sometimes buff cards aren't bad necessarily, depending if they're running whatever they were running. It's just like +2/+2 for free, and you get 1 gold back. But I don't think this hero power is going to function all that well. I think Mr. Bigglesworth is going to be a low tier hero. It's unfortunate. I like the potential for this. They would have to do a lot of changes in game in order for this character to be viable. They'd have to extend the game. I think if the games were 16, 17 rounds like they were in the past, this power would be absolutely just mind-blowingly amazing. Because you'd at least get something of value in the late game when, 4th or 3rd place dies. Right now, it's like everybody's on like 6 HP on turn 10. Except for maybe the one guy who's high rolling in the lobby, and odds are the high roller isn't going to die, and you're not going to get anything off of his board. You're basically at that point just playing to survive and hoping you don't match up against him again. So I don't know. I don't like the hero power. I think Mr. Bigglesworth is an awesome hero, though. I gotta say, I love Kel'Thuzad's Kitty. But as for the hero power, he's going to need some type of buff or some type of rework. I can already tell you right now, I don't think he's going to be that good of a hero, just based on how games go. So, with Scholomance also comes Menagerie. Menagerie Mug, 2 attack, 2 health, give 3 random minions of different minion types, +1/+1. So, does that sound familiar to you? Well, that's because it's kind of like what Zubat used to do. So Zubat used to be given a random Murloc, a random Dragon, and a random Beast, I believe it was, +1/+1. It was a 3/3 on the same Tavern tier. I'm guessing to make up for, the addition of the other archetypes. And it also working on demons, they had to cut 1 attack off of it. So instead of a 3/3, you get a 2/2, but you get at least 3 different +1/+1s, and they're not limited to 3 tribe types. You can get any of the tribe types. Menagerie Jug is also joining the battlefield. It is a 3/3 minion on tier 4. Give 3 random friendly minions of different minion types +2/+2. So this will be taking the place of Menagerie Magician, as you can see here. Zubat has been removed, and Menagerie Magician has been removed. So honestly, I don't think these are the changes that people were looking for. I do think it's nice that, they're giving demons a chance here. This is kind of like a demon buff, essentially. It's kind of a pirate buff in a way as well. They now have access to different buffs that they didn't before, which is nice. You don't just have to worry about getting Crystal Weavers and whatever the 2/3 demon is that gives you buffs. I can't even think of his name right now. You can actually buff your demons other ways, which is nice. And it's also, like I said, good for Menagerie as well, obviously. You can actually go Menagerie. They're really trying to push the Menagerie build. I think they want people to be able to go that build, as well as, Murlocs and Dragons. And the problem with Menagerie before this patch was that they added a Melgodon, which was nice, don't get me wrong. But there's just not enough there to push it. You don't get Lightfang until 5. You have to push to 5, but like we talked about with Kel'Thuzad's Kitty, games typically end before you get to Tavern Tier 5. you're pretty much stuck on 4 if you have a couple bad matchups, or you just didn't roll well enough to actually keep up with everybody else in the lobby. And then from there, you're pretty much done. There's no way you can get a menagerie off the ground. You have to pretty much concede that you're stuck on 4, and you then have to transition into probably mechs, would be my guess. Mechs probably aren't going to transition into demons, unless you're going to try to do a soul juggler ping setup. Honestly, I wish they would have done something to at least make the game a little bit less quick. You know, I like how in the past it was longer rounds. I think some minions and some tavern tiers that are pretty sticky to the board need to be lowered into lower tavern tiers. While yes, it would make them skill faster, they would hit for less damage, which would help overall. But I don't know. Battlegrounds has been a mess the past couple of months. Ever since the pirate patch with cannon and whatnot, I still think cannon needs to be moved to a different tavern tier or have its power reduced by 1. I was going to make a video talking about that and kind of comparing it to Soul Juggler because it's the only other ping card in the game. I guess we can do that here during this because this was kind of a short patch and this was a short patch video. So I guess what we'll do is we'll end it by talking about, you know, what I think they should do in the next patch. So for next patch, I think that cannon should be moved to either tavern tier 3 with Soul Juggler, or they need to make it some type of specific condition for activating, outside of just whenever a minion next to it attacks. It either needs to be the leftmost minion, or the rightmost minion, or it needs to be whenever a pirate attacks, or a specific tribe type attacks. Because when you compare cannon to Soul Juggler only activates when a demon dies, so you have to lose a card on your board in order for it to ping for 3. Cannon doesn't have that limitation. Cannon can literally hit for multiple damage off the same minion. I've seen like big health minions with Pyramid with taunts hit for like 5 or 6 in one turn, especially with Yoho Ogre. Like it'll attack, it'll hit for 2, it'll get attacked, it'll hit for 2, it gets attacked again, and, you know, it keeps hitting and hitting and hitting with the same minion, so those pings like add up really fast. You can easily get like 2 or 3 pings just off of Yoho Ogre, especially in the early game when everybody's got 2 attack on their minions for the most part. If you happen to high roll and get lucky, and get Yoho on 3 off of a triple. Don't get me started on a triple cannon either, because that's absolutely insane with Yoho Ogre. It's also insane with the one Tavern 1 pirate, where when it attacks, it dies, spawns a token, it attacks again. That's basically what, 7 damage, I believe it is, between 2 minions. Like that's insane. In the early game, like that's between a Tavern 1 and a Tavern 2 with no buffs. That's 7 damage. That's a lot of damage early on, and there's no counterplay to it either, outside of your cannon just getting sniped. Whereas Soul Juggler, at least, like I said, he has some counterplay. You can, you know, cleave the demons down to where, yes, you'll take 9 damage, but that's all you'll take. And most of the spawn demons, like, you know, Imprisoner or Voidlord even, can be counterplayed around cleave. If you get a big enough cleave, you hit the Voidlords, it kills both of them, he gets 2 Voidwalkers, and that's it. Instead of getting 6 or, you know, 4 extra pings, he only gets 2, and that's 6 damage. Instead of, what, 4 times 6, 24. That's a big difference. 6 instead of 24. That's a huge difference. So I don't know. I think they need to do something about cannon. I think it either needs to be moved, it needs to either be tribe specific. Something needs to be done. The card is just too good, and it contributes to a lot of early game snowballs. If you have that card on your board, most times you're going to be able to go straight to 5 or 6 and not have any issues in the early game. Whereas the people who faced you are probably never going to make it to tier 5. They're going to get stuck on tier 4, and they're going to have to settle for a mech build. Realistically, it's just how it goes. So I'd like to see that nerfed. I'd like to maybe see the HP pools looked at if they're not willing to adjust minions based on tavern tiers because of how sticky they are to the board, especially pirates. Pirates are a big offender on this one because their mid-range is just insane. You could literally go one round against pirates in tavern tiers 3 and 4 and just lose like 25 HP because you just didn't get lucky and they went first. That's not fun. It's almost like the arena problem where it was whoever went first wins. And that's kind of what pirates are. Pirates are the arena meta. If pirates attack first, 99% of the time, they're probably going to win that round because they're going to get their buffs, they're going to get everything going, and they're just going to run you over. And you're not going to kill a single pirate, and you're going to take 20 damage. Whereas if you get to attack first and you happen to snipe a key unit, whether it be the Goliath or the Snarlfang, then you pretty much just win the round. And you're uncontested. Pirates are just too hit or miss. I think something needs to be done to bring them a little bit in line. But anyway, I think that's really it for balance. And I mean, Murlocs are a problem, don't get me wrong. I think, if anything, they need to remove Toxin from the pool so that Murlocs don't have access to to poison at 4. You know, make it a Megasaur exclusive thing, so that way the Megasaur is actually more powerful in value than what it is now. Because realistically, all you're looking for with Megasaur is Divine Shield, because then you can just look for a Tavern Tier 4 minion and use that to boost up your Murlocs and give them all poisonous. So it's something that needs to be addressed as well. I think Toxfin should be removed from the pool. I would be okay with that. Anyways, guys, let me know down below what you guys think of the video. Let me know what you guys think of Mr. Bigglesworth. Do you think I'm wrong on it? What do you think about my ideas for, future changes? Do you think the cannon needs to be nerfed? Do you think it's fine where it is? Do you think Murlocs need to be adjusted a little bit? Let me know. Give me some feedback. Anyways, guys, be sure to like the video so that way I know you guys like the content that I'm producing. It helps me out a bit in understanding what you guys are looking for in a video. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and head out of here. Catch you guys later. See you on the Battlegrounds. Later.